Happy Monday, everyone. 1 week from today, you'll be getting ready actually around this time for the solar eclipse.
That is so true. And all this week, we're really making sure on Studio 10 that you guys are prepared for that. So we are so excited for that.
We are.
I know somebody is going to be off having a time of their life. But make sure you catch the segment that we're doing this afternoon with LOI Care.
Yes.
Because they're preparing us and talking about a lot of the effects that the solar eclipse can have on our eyes, can even have on our phones when we're trying to record it. So today we're actually going to dive into all those tips and things that we need to know, especially buying the proper glasses. You don't want something with UVA or UVB. So if you weren't aware of those tips, which I wasn't, they're giving and breaking down a lot of those things for us this afternoon. So
yes.
It's a really must-need-to-hear conversation that we're doing. Plus, what's also in store this week, Moulin Rouge, the musical. Yes, so that is actually happening starting tomorrow. Those performances begin, and they run all the way through the end of this weekend up until Sunday.
The preview you had during News 10 today at 11.
Lovely.
Want to watch.
And of course, in Studio 10, we can't, just enjoy the fun ourselves. We have to make sure we share and partake in that with you guys. So we have another giveaway where you can win tickets for that.
Oh.
But there are a lot of clues. There's some instructions that we need. So make sure we listen to those. We're going to talk about those at the top of the show today. We're going to go behind the curtain to talk to one of the cast members. And can I say, back in my previous thespian days, actually, I did it. Yes. One of the cast members in this show is actually somebody I used to work with. I did Little Shop of Horrors with him.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, we got a chance to talk a lot, and so he's actually going to be joining us this afternoon as well.
So a little reunion for you as well.
I might cry. But we're really
Did we get to see a taste of Little Shop of Horror?
That'll be a show on another day.
All right,
actually,
all right.
I missed World Theater Day, so that would have been a perfect time for me to do that.
Clearly we're upset about that.
Yes,
so.
we clearly are. But yeah, we have that plus so much more. It is April Fool's Day. So we did a little snooping around the office today.
I may have
Claudia
helped.
style.
Yep.
You may have help?
Well, she went, Taylor, I need some help. I went, okay, here we go.
All right.
She had some good pranks, though. You'll have to, will you be showing them?
We will. But
Okay.
can I tell you, there were some funnier ones that didn't make it into the cut. But, Claudia style, we're getting pretty Frankie, I guess you could say. But we got a lot of really great things in store for this afternoon. So first day of the month.
Yeah.
First day of the week. Brand new season.
Here we
So
go.
a lot of really great things. So we hope you guys join us. And again, because we're having that giveaway, if you need to go back and rewatch a few things or look at anything again, remember on all social platforms, WILX Studio 10. Make sure you put WILX in there because there is another Studio 10.
Oh, no,
around
there's
the
only
world.
one that we know of, okay?
Yeah, that's what I'd like to hear. But just make sure you type that in there. But we'll see you guys soon at 3 o'clock.
Sounds good. Thank you, Rochelle. And Rochelle was mentioning those giveaways. So make sure that you're paying attention starting at 3 o'clock today all week. And of course, you can see how you can win some tickets to the Wharton Center. And all you have to do is email them at studio10@wilx.com. And of course, like Rochelle was saying, lots of solar eclipse talk this week here at News 10, not only on Studio 10, but I'll talk a little bit more about it coming up at for Mid-Michigan Matters today. We're also talking about the solar eclipse because it is next week. We want to make sure that you are prepared to look at the sun safely with the glasses and everything else to get you ready for it. So another person who's been super excited about it, and we're going to most likely see it together.
I know, very exciting. Yeah, I've definitely got plans to go down there and take advantage, have the day off next Monday. And so I'm going to be chasing the eclipse once again. I was there in 2017. Very, very cool event. If you have the ability without throwing everything out of whack, I'd encourage you. It's not a far drive to get to totality. You just want to make sure you budget enough time and set that time aside, hoping for a good forecast as well, too, of course. But it's unlike anything I've ever seen. Just very, very cool thing to see. And the difference between, 96% in Lansing, 97, 98% in Jackson, and 100% near and south of Toledo, it's mind-boggling just how big that tiny difference makes as far as how everything looks, and just an incredible sight. So if you have the ability to go view it, I would take advantage. I think the next one to come through the continental U.S. is in 2045, and the next one to be this close to our area is 75 years away in 2099. And the likelihood is I won't be here to see that one. So I'm hoping to get my second one in this year, and then maybe we'll see what happens in the future with other eclipses.
Yes, and Justin and our other meteorologists will continue tracking the forecast because you really want those clear skies too.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. We're going to talk about it too. I got a couple graphics that I'll be able to show here in just a moment after we look at the forecast. That'll kind of dive into that a little bit, and it's all, of course, very exciting. A lot of science involved, but we'll talk about it. But we're seeing a lot of sun out there today, and that's been good. A nice welcome change of pace. Yesterday we were blanketed by the clouds, and today, well, the opposite's been true so far, but the clouds are starting to roll in. You can see them, they're fairly thin out there, but they'll eventually cover our skies. For now, though, we're enjoying the sunshine, and what that's done is kicked us back up into the 50s. Certainly nice to have after we just made it to the 40s yesterday. 53, the current number at US Highway 127 and that Meridian Company Skycam network. Now, just about everybody's at 50. The only places that we don't have at 50 degrees yet are Hastings, St. John's, and Hillsdale. All three of those locations actually update at the bottom of the hour at 2:30, and so we'll expect those numbers to jump into the 50s as well, like everybody else is this afternoon. You can see that we're not too far off from some much warmer air. 60s in Indy, 76 in St. Louis and Kansas City. We're not far from that, but it's just not going to make its way up to us, at least not just yet. We got to wait a little bit longer until we get back into that really warm air. But we are avoiding the brutal cold for now. I think that'll be the case moving forward next several days. We're going to go hour by hour with temperatures here, and I do think we top out about 54 by 4 p.m. or so before we head the other way tonight, and numbers will go back down into the 30s. But we'll also have a change in our skies, we'll call it. So satellite and radar, again, sunny for now, a few thin clouds drifting in, but they'll start to thicken up this afternoon late. We do have a system out to the west, and this is just going to be, I'm calling it a parade of systems because they're just going to come in one after another over the next few days. We get one tonight, another on Tuesday, a third on Wednesday, and a fourth on Friday. And so really it's just going to be lining us up one after another like a domino effect the next few days. We got to wait till Friday to get another dry day in after we get past dinner time this evening. And so that's what we're focused on. Going to be a pretty active pattern. The good news is the severe weather threat is to our south. The bad news and the trade-off there, we might have to deal with a little bit of snow here and there. So that's what we're going to be peeking at in the hour by hour. I picked the wide view today just to kind of show you the evolution of this system. Here's kind of where we're headed this evening. So there's that line coming through about 6 o'clock or so. It might still be off to the west, so maybe you get through dinner time still dry. I do think as we close in on sunset, we're going to see more rain roll in. Several waves of it overnight. Again, potential for severe is going to be down south. You can see kind of that big burst in Indiana and Ohio, the bottom of the screen. We avoid that tonight, so that's good news. Heading towards 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, might still have a few of those lingering showers, but I think we could get a pocket tomorrow, maybe midday, where it's dry for a time. You'll see that right here briefly. And then we go right back into the rain, headed into the evening about 5, 6 o'clock. It rolls in again like clockwork and yet another system. But you notice now we got a lot more snow off to the top left of the screen. It's not in our area at that point tomorrow evening because our temperatures will still be mid-40s. But we'll start to wrap that cold air down into Illinois, through Indiana, and try to come back around into the circulation into the state of Michigan. So by Wednesday, you'll notice here we'll throw down a few spotty showers, and these could be rain, snow, maybe a little bit of both in all likelihood. Now the good news is with temperatures still getting to around the low 40s, we're probably not going to really accumulate anything, if anything at all, but we may see some flakes mix in, fly through the air. So that's kind of what we're focused on. That'll continue through our Wednesday, and you notice how large the system is, extending out beyond Niagara Falls, over towards Lake Ontario to the east, and then all the way through Wisconsin and into Minnesota to the west. And so it's just a very large system, and unfortunately it didn't get the memo, no parking. It's right over the top of us. It's just not going anywhere, and we're finally going to move it out by the end of the week, but it may
also does an interesting spiral as well.
Yeah, nice big spiral flow, and that just kind of shows you the big low pressure system that's right in the middle. And with that right over the top of our head again, and the slow moving front, it's really just not going to move us very much. And so that's what we'll be stuck under. So I got the 20% in here on our Monday. That's mainly just because we might be able to sneak a shower in just before the sun goes down. For most of us, the rain comes in overnight. We're in the 40s the rest of the week, and it's low to mid 40s. The good news is it does look like overnight lows are staying near or above freezing until the system's out of here. That, again, should limit the ability for us to pick up anything meaningful as far as snow would go. We might be able to mix it in, and it will be a little breezy Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Wednesday going to be the windiest of those days. We do, though, get back into dry weather Friday, and while we're still in the 40s, it's a step in the right direction that heads towards our first weekend of April. Looks pretty good for Saturday. I've heard there's something going on that day. But, you know, we got the 53-degree forecast high with sunshine, 58 Sunday, and then that eclipse everyone's been talking about. We got that on Monday, 61 degrees. The Lugnuts also have their opening day next Tuesday, a week from tomorrow. And I'll tell you what, the weather for that, thank goodness they're starting next Tuesday at home instead of tomorrow, Tuesday at home, because what a difference a week makes. 45 and rain tomorrow versus 67 and partly cloudy. Boy, you're going to fill the seats over there at Jackson Field if that's the opening day forecast that holds true. So we're going to keep our eyes close on that. Again, you see more high 60s at the end or towards the middle of next week, I should say. Really good looking forecast moving forward. But you notice that icon I have on Monday. That's a cute little thing we have on there to kind of showcase the eclipse that'll be taking place. And I would say it's fairly accurate with what may be seen here, just as far as the coverage being just shy of 100%. And so we did want to dive deeper into that path of totality. Here's the Great American Eclipse. This is when, of course, we're going to have the sun become blocked by the moon, and that's what'll take place around the middle of the afternoon. Now, the path of the eclipse, and the reason that we just have the one very thin path as opposed to a much larger, because the shadow really will be cast on a larger portion of the Earth, but the sunlight will only be completely blocked in this kind of narrow band that you see right here where the totality is. This is the closest brush by it makes to us, so if you kind of tilt your head a little to the left, that'll be more your north-south profile with Toledo on the left side, Columbus on the south. You can see Michigan in the Detroit area, I-94 over on the left side of the screen. This is about as close as we will get to the dark circle of totality as it moves across. Now, personally, I'm planning on going just south of the Toledo area, getting that kind of north toward Findlay in that area. I'll be in the hometown of a buddy of mine that I went to college with, and so I'll be over in that direction. And so that's just about where we'll be at. I think it's going to be a good spot. We're just hoping now that we get some relatively clear skies out there. Now, a cool thing about the eclipse is that due to the rapid cooling that takes place beneath that shadow, even if you do have maybe partly to mostly cloudy skies, you can just get these clouds to kind of dissipate right up, which is sort of cool phenomenon. Now, if you got really, really thick cloud cover and a big rain system, you're probably not going to be able to do that just with that rapid cooling. But if you have some fair weather clouds and you're thinking, man, I think these clouds might hold on and ruin the eclipse, if you are in totality, have some faith, because what I experienced in 2017 when I was in Tennessee is we had a few clouds in the sky. Those pretty much just eroded and vanished as soon as the totality took over because of that rapid cooling. And so the clouds essentially kind of dissipate really fast. And so that's something that's really cool. So that's the path to totality. That's as close as we'll get here to mid-Michigan. Tiny little sliver of southeast Michigan and Monroe County is going to get touched. Everybody else, not so much. And even there, they're only getting maybe about 15 to 20 seconds of totality, whereas closer to the middle, you get nearly 4 minutes. And so we wanted to look at the eclipse timeline here in the Lansing area. This is what you can expect the sky to kind of look like. And of course, if you've got those safe eclipse glasses and you're looking at it, this is sort of what you will see if you're looking at the sun. You'll see the moon beginning to come up and cross over, and that's sort of kind of the timeline that we're going to be on here with, again, about just before 2 o'clock is when we'll first begin to see the darker umbra of the moon moving over the sun, and then by about 4:25 we'll see it go off the other side. But the peak for us is going to be around 3:12 in the afternoon. That's when we'll be just over 96% coverage in Lansing. So a cool thing you may notice is that on the ground, you're going to have some pretty cool things with the sky, just the shadows and what's going on. Essentially, we call these shadows eclipsed because you'll notice that they take on kind of a hue that's similar to the blockage of the sun by the moon, which is a really fascinating thing that you don't really get to see other than during an actual physical eclipse. And so that'll be something you want to check out, even if we don't get to totality and you're hanging around here.
The other thing is, like, I know they said the solar eclipse would last about 3 to 4 minutes.
Yeah, the totality.
Yeah, the totality of it. But even as you're seeing in the graphic that you made, Justin, you're still seeing the moon inch closer and closer to the sun. So throughout like a 2-hour span.
Yeah, and it's really cool to see. I mean, just looking at it through, of course, again, those safe glasses, you don't want to look directly at the sun. Even when we get to that 96%, you're still going to have enough of the sunlight peeking over where it can damage the retina and it can damage your eyes. And so you don't want to look at it directly, certainly for long-term exposure. I would not endorse anybody of any kind even glancing up at it. Make sure you have those glasses. Libraries that still are carrying them are giving those away for free. They're really cheap too. If you have, like, find them in Meijer, I've seen them just as recently as last week on the shelves. I'm sure they're still there.
$2.
Yeah, you can go in and ask somebody. It's really easy to get a pair, and if you don't want to get 10 of them for the family, great, grab one and pass it around and keep taking a look. That's, I think, what I'm going to do. And so it's a good plan because you don't need to sit there for 2 straight hours and be staring at it through the glasses. But if you want to look, oh, this is cool, pass it on to the next person or a buddy. And, you know, if you're splitting it amongst 10 people, what's $2, right? So, I mean, it's a good way to utilize it there. So that's kind of the eclipse timeline here in Lansing. I also wanted to take a peek at a couple other areas. So we wanted to show that same thing, but now you got several different locations around mid-Michigan that we've thrown together. And you can see kind of the cool graphic here. There's the moon going over and blocking out the sun right there. So kind of cool that we have, once again, we are going to expect to see most of these times be pretty similar. You notice that between Grand Rapids and Detroit, furthest west and the furthest east, it's a 3-minute difference in when this is taking place. But if you want to be precise, which we love to be, and we want to be exact, these are kind of the times that you can expect for each of these to take place. Notice that for everybody, that peak is going to be between about 3:10 and 3:15, and so that's going to be a time that you really, if you have the ability, even just you want to block those 5 minutes off in your calendar to go peek outside through those safe eclipse glasses, and that'll give you your best view of that solar eclipse. And if you are going to totality, you can expect to see a scene somewhat similar to what's on the icon there on the left, where the sun is being blocked out. And what I always found really cool, the one that I went to in 17, once again, to bring it back up, you can see the corona, kind of those outer, almost they look like flickering like flames off of the sun. You can see those because the sky is darkened and the sun's out. And those two never coincide. You never have the sky dark when the sun's out, except during a solar eclipse. And so you're able to actually see that. And it's the only time from the surface that you can view that is during those 3 to 4 minutes of totality. And so just something really, really cool to be able to check out. Again, we'll continue to talk about this over the coming several days and got a lot to talk about with this. We have someone saying hello from Antarctica.
That is cool.
Interesting.
Also,
that's pretty cool if that's where you're at. And yes, the White Sox game was very fun. Thank you, Alex.
Hey,
and I
go
went.
Tigers.
Go Tigers, yes, go Tigers. We swept the Sox, got the broomsticks out. It was great. Got to be at that first game. Not a lot of offense, but it was very exciting. A pitching duel. Tarek Skubal got the job done with the help of the bullpen. And Javi Baez was getting booed everywhere he went in Chicago, and man, he provided the game's only run. He got the fans riled up too. He's pretty good at doing that in Chicago. They don't have a lot of love for him there, but you know, he helped the Tigers do an opening day win, and they got 2 more after that. Exciting games, and we're 3-0. We'll take it. Sweep of the White Sox.
And
always good to start off.
Right, this Friday?
Coming this Friday will be the home opener.
Okay,
I believe
this Friday.
They've got games. I believe it's today, tomorrow, and Wednesday in New York against the Mets. And then they've got the Oakland Athletics, who I don't think are going to be very good this year. So hopefully that means we can take at least 2 of those 3 games. It'd be great to get all 3, of course, but we're not going to get too greedy here. We're already 3-0 coming off a sweep.
In the whole series, there you go.
If you tell me we could start the season off on a hot start like that, maybe win 7 of the first 9 games, including the 3-0 start, and then Mets in this, if we could take the first 3 series, I'd love that. That'd be fantastic. Go Tigers. We'll be ready to root for them this year. I think they got a real true shot at the division, and then I promise I'll branch off from the sports talk and all that. I'll leave that to Tim and everybody else, but I think they got a real shot. Division's not very strong this year. Hot start sometimes is all it takes to propel a team to success. We'll see how it goes. And as we mentioned, the Lugnut's also going to be in action starting next Tuesday as they kick off their season. It looks like we have great weather for that too. And so baseball's upon us. It's great to have back. And the March Madness kind of winding down here, but there's still 4 teams left in the men's. The women, I believe, are going to have their 4 after tonight. Got some really high-profile matchups in the women's
hockey
games
too.
And hockey, the Frozen Four are going to be coming up as well. So there's a lot of great sports on right now. Great time with like postseasons for hockey, basketball, etc. Baseball starting back up, and NFL offseason. There's always stuff going on.
NFL draft at the end of the month.
And that's in Detroit. So again, lots of very exciting sports times going on. And if the weather can just cooperate. We just got to get through, as we mentioned, a couple days here moving forward. And so that's sort of where we're at here as we go throughout the next several days. We're expecting once again, and we can take one more peek at the 10-day forecast and what we have here just to show you. Again, we got the rain, a little bit of snow Wednesday, maybe Thursday, but again, this is more or less going to sort of wash out with the rain. And so we do expect to more than likely keep the ground snow free, and if any does manage to accrue briefly, it'll be in the early morning Wednesday or Thursday or in the evening, and it's not likely that this is a big issue for us. It's more just going to be maybe annoying for some than it is actually really impactful. And so, but you know, with what looks like is coming, you're never going to say never here in Michigan, but once we get into next week, we got the 60s coming back. That's a pattern that looks like we may ride a good chunk of the month of April out with 60s and maybe at the coldest like 50s highs.
We will take it.
I'm sure we wouldn't have a lot of complaints about that, especially with these 40s in the next couple days. But I think we're going to be gearing back towards another pretty pleasant weather stretch here, beginning really this weekend and beyond. And so I'm not going to say, again, I'm not going to guarantee or promise that it's the last time we'll deal with snow, but our days are numbered. And it might be one of the final times that we deal with it, at least on the basis in which we might get some light accumulations. We have had accumulating snow as late as May in this state and in this area in the past few years. But it's looking like this could be kind of the last gasp that we get of that. And so for the folks who say good riddance, you know, you're going to like the end of this forecast. Hopefully we'll be able to keep it going.
We'll take the April rain showers. Mm-hmm. Get rid of the snow, please.
Right,
yes.
and that's always the key. Is Mother Nature doesn't specify. It's just April showers. Mm-hmm. Doesn't say what they have to be. Just says that they're showers, and so keep that in mind. Again, forecast not too bad. Hopefully you can get lucky for the eclipse. And again, I do encourage you, if you have the ability to make the trip, just that close to totality, do it. If you don't, obviously, it's still cool to see from here. But wow, is it going to be cool? And I'm excited to go see it again. It's going to be really fun.
We're pumped. Justin and I have probably been talking about this since the beginning of this year, if not before 2024 started.
Well, and it's funny because I've been telling people all day and over the past few weeks, I told Darren several years ago, it was probably like 4 years ago, and we were talking about an eclipse that had gone through Brazil or something, and I said, you know, Darren, if I'm still working in Lansing, I just want to let you know now, this is like before COVID even happened, I'm like, I want that day off because I went to the eclipse in 17 and I'm going to go to the one in 24. So we look up Monday, April 8th, 2024. At that time, it was 4 years in the future. I said, if I still work here, I'm off. I'm not going to be there that day. Well, here we are. And here I won't be this time next week because I'm going to be down checking that out. You're going to be there too. So it's going to be a fun time. Hopping in the car with me and Alex. We're going to go down and check it out. We're going to have a fun time.
And I'll be cruising right behind them so I can see it.
Yep, exactly right. Yeah, it'll be fun.
There we go. So you can check out our Facebook pages if you want to see the path of totality or what we're looking at.
We'll have posts. Believe me, we'll have posts. It'll be really cool. And if it's looking like we might not luck out with clouds, we'll see how it all works out. But I'm going to try to get to it. You know, we're going to try to make sure it works out. So
we will.
Hopefully the forecast is just sunny. We can just go right to where we're planning. But we'll see how it pans out.
We're excited.
Yeah.
I'm pumped.
It's really, really good.
We could keep talking about it, but we still have a week, so we'll wait a bit, I guess.
Yep. Yeah, we'll keep moving here. So, okay, there we go. So, what is BW?
BW says I'm in Northwest Indiana.
Chris and BW are talking in here. They're having a conversation. I was reading our chat trying to figure out what's going on. And so, hello to
Wendy
you in
says thanks
Indiana.
for the update.
Yes, of course. Wendy, thank you always for watching. And Chris as well. You too. And BW, I'm glad you'd like to go to Antarctica. They're going to enter they're going to be entering their winter soon here as we're kind of gearing into our spring. They're going into their fall and eventually winter, so it's going to start getting cold and dark there again. So anyways, if you ever go, send me a postcard or something. Have fun. Anyway, real quickly, want to just touch on once again First Alert Weather app, because that's a great tool that you can get all this information not only on your forecast, which of course has all the info that we provide every day, but there are special posts that go on there too. And especially as we gear towards this eclipse, we'll have some videos going up discussing some of the things I just detailed here, where you can see it, when, best time to look. Again, if you can set some time aside between 3:10 and 3:15, but to be a little more broad, maybe between 3 and 3:30 on the day of the eclipse next Monday, 3 to 3:30 p.m. If you want to glance outside with a safe pair of glasses, of those special eclipse glasses, and look you won't be disappointed. It's really cool. And check out the shadows too on the ground, because they're going to be really wild looking. It'll be noticeably dimmer. We've been talking about this event a lot because it's a big deal. It doesn't happen very often, and certainly not very close to here. As I mentioned, while we will have another total eclipse that passes through the lower 48 U.S. in 2045, which is 21 years from now, we got to wait 75 years until 2099 for the next one that'll be this close to our area. That one actually comes through parts of mid-Michigan. And so if you're still around in 2099, if any of us are, I guess, we might have a chance. We might have a chance to see that. Optimistically thinking, but you might not necessarily have the same pep in your step if you are still around as you do today. So why not take advantage and go check it out today? I think it'd be a great thing for us to do, and we'll kind of keep our eyes peeled in the meantime. Again, First Alert Weather Apps, great to get all that info. We'll have a lot more coming up on First at 4 and during our 3 p.m. show, our Lifestyle Show Studio 10, which will be a fun one today you won't want to miss.
Yes, and they will be talking more about the solar eclipse.
Of course. It's going to be a lot of discussion. You're going to hear a lot about it the next week. I apologize in advance, but sorry, not sorry. It's going to be great. Hopefully you can see it.
I'm not either, because when I pull up this full screen, you'll see what we have coming up during Mid-Michigan Matters. But we will see you, Justin, at 3.
Sounds good. I'll be there.
Sounds good. And you might as well stick around to see what we have coming up.
Yeah.
Real quick. Oh, wait, that's Studio 10. 1 second. There we go.
Yeah.
Get ready for the Great American Eclipse.
Mm-hmm. Yep, there it is. Big time.
All right, we'll see you at 3 o'clock,
Perfect.
Justin.
Thank you.
And I'm sure you'll be talking more about it as well. So
Oh, yes.
make sure, because as you heard, Justin is amped up, just like the rest of us are, for the solar eclipse. And we'll be talking about that during Mid-Michigan Matters today. In the 4 o'clock. So first at 4, make sure to tune in. We have Shannon Schmoll with the Abrams Planetarium on Michigan State University's campus. And she came in to actually talk about Leap Day back in February. And now she's coming back to talk about the Great American Eclipse, or the solar eclipse. Again, that's happening Monday, April 8th. And like Justin was talking about, and I'm glad he mentioned this multiple times, you want to look at the solar eclipse only as long as you have the safe official eclipse glasses, okay? We want to make that known because you do not want to hurt your eyes or your retina by staring at the sun, even if it will be covered by the moon, or even here in mid-Michigan, that 96-97% coverage. You still want to make sure you are wearing those glasses. And if you don't get those glasses, or maybe you want to view it in other ways, Shannon with Abrams Planetarium during Mid-Michigan Matters today will share the other ways that you can safely view the eclipse without the glasses, but also, again, touching on the importance of getting the glasses and really urging you to get those so that you're making sure that you're safe while watching this spectacular phenomenon in the sky. So that is what we have on Mid-Michigan Matters today. Make sure to tune in. Coming up, News 10 at 5, you heard Justin Bradford talking about Lugnuts baseball returning this week. And so baseball season is here. Fred Heumann is talking Lugnuts baseball ahead of Wednesday's Crosstown Showdown with Michigan State. Make sure to tune in, News 10 at 5. And baseball season means warmer weather on the way. So that means tails are wagging to get to the park. We'll be at an area dog park where Fidos and their humans are enjoying the new season, the spring season. I'm sure many of us are happy with that warmth. Actually, my family dog at home lives with my parents. She kept barking to go outside over this Easter weekend, get outside, enjoy some of that warmth. So I'm sure the dogs, the Fidos, they're excited to get outside. So yes, coming up, News 10 at 5:30, we'll share you more on this local dog park reopening for the season. And then coming up tonight at 10:30, and then also coming up, News 10 at 6, renovations start on the first floor of Berkey Hall. And that's one of the 2 sites where the shooting took place just over 1 year ago. Our very own News 10's Aaron Bowling is on campus, and we'll have a look at how the university has reimagined the space. And that's all coming up today, News 10 at 6. So make sure you're tuning in to our 90 minutes of news and even beyond that. First, starting with Studio 10 at 3 o'clock, coming up in about half an hour here, followed by First at 4, and then our 90 minutes of news. But speaking with Berkey Hall, I do want to show our You're Not Alone mental health series. All year long and throughout the months throughout the year, you're able to hear many different stories from mental health care professionals as well as community members. Community members could be people just like you and I who are going through their own mental health journey, right? You know, we're all taking care of our physical and our mental health. doing the best that we can. And sometimes it's hard to do that with all of the stress, anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts. If you feel overwhelmed, and that, can lead to some stress and anxiety as well. Know that there are resources out there for you to talk to someone, to vent, to seek that advice, to find guidance even. So all you have to do is bring out your cell phone camera, scan that QR code, click on the link that'll pop up, and it'll bring you to our website, wilx.com, with that list of resources from around the mid-Michigan counties. So make sure to go check that out. And again, these are resources to help you know that you're not alone, but more so the resources provide you that guidance and being able to find or have a starting point in seeking more of that mental health help. And then when you tune into News 10, both on air and online, we'll be sharing stories throughout the month on Studio 10, Mid-Michigan Matters, during our 90 minutes of news, and beyond that, even special reports going over with community members who really open up and are vulnerable about their story. And they want to make it known, their story, so that they can share that with people like you and knowing that you're not alone. So we do have a few of those mental health or You're Not Alone series coming up during News 10 throughout the month. Make sure you are tuning in then. And then I'll give you a live look before we head off here today. This is a live look over Mason right now, so just getting that little live look. As you can see, like Justin was talking about, we have those blue skies, but you're also seeing more of those thin little wispy clouds move back into the area as well. So as you're heading out the door, just make sure that, you're all good with the sun today, but then later tonight, with all of the rain, that you were being careful if you have to drive anywhere. Just keep that in mind as you're heading out for your day. And then I'll show a live look over Michigan State University as well. Here we go. And then we'll take a live look over Lansing, because I do want to tease ahead Deanna Giles' story coming up as well. So right now you're just taking a look over Michigan State University. And then if I can bring up Lansing Community College real quick, you can see the state capitol, and I'll share what Deanna has coming up during our 90 minutes of news. So coming up here, all right, News 10 at 5. Deanna Giles will speak with a surrogate family, and we'll have more from the bill signing. And the bill signing with Governor Gretchen Whitmer signing the Michigan Family Protection Act into law. And this is giving more families in Michigan access to paid surrogacy. So again, coming up News 10 at 5, Deanna will be speaking with a surrogate family. So make sure to go check that out. We have a lot more coming your way. One more thing that I want to mention is for 5 o'clock, and let me just pull up what we have again coming up during our 90 minutes of news. The Lugnuts start play this weekend in Dayton. So again, we're talking more of that News 10 at 5 o'clock today with Fred Heumann. So he'll have more on what you need to know as the Lugnuts begin their season. And then the home opener is next week. So actually coming up this Thursday, on Mid-Michigan Matters, we're bringing in Jesse Goldberg-Strassler and Adam Jaxa, the voices of the Lugnuts. They'll be talking everything you need to know when it comes to the Lugnut season. So we're very excited to bring them in. Again, that'll be this Thursday right here on News 10. I'm sure, we'll have them for Mid-Michigan Matters, so make sure to tune in first at 4. And then we'll see, maybe we'll bring them to the desk here afterwards, after first at 4, so we can even talk even more. So if you have any questions about the Lugnuts, make sure you're sending those questions in the chat. If you have any comments as well, make sure to leave those. But that is what we have coming up today on this Monday. I will show you the forecast one more time before we head out here, because you want to enjoy the sunshine while you can today. Again, those clouds are slowly moving back in. As Justin Bradford was mentioning, those showers are going to be coming around toward dinner time. And as you can see on the 10-day forecast, once those showers start, they won't be stopping until we head into Friday. So as you can see, dealing with the rain showers heading into tonight, all day tomorrow, Tuesday, and then bringing in some of that snow accumulation, those showers on Wednesday and Thursday. Make sure you're tuning into Studio 10 coming up at 3 o'clock today in about 25 minutes. And then we will have more on the forecast again coming up Studio 10, and also on the solar eclipse. And then coming up first at 4, we'll share even more of that with the forecast and the solar eclipse. If you can't tell, we are very ready for it. And then we'll have more, of course, coming up during our 90 minutes of news. So make sure to tune in then. Have a great Monday, everyone.